Welcome to the Movie Vault. I'm Ben.
And I'm Zach.
And I'm Tressel.
Well, guys, I didn't think we would ever make it, but we all still have a pulse. We all are still able to see. We all still somehow are able to afford a television and to afford sometimes to go out to the movies. And we do indeed still have a giant bank vault that we live in with the movies in it. And we're still pulling them out and we're still reviewing them after 150, well, not after, I guess, at 150 episodes.
Classical episodes. We have more than 150 episodes.
Yeah, we have maybe close to 200 releases of different kinds. And we love just like basking in nostalgia on the Movie Vault. So we'll probably spend a lot of time just saying like, oh my goodness, like over the last couple of years has been so great. It hasn't. It's been hard. Do you think I do this because I like it? No, I do it because I know that it is a public service to people, that I subject myself to hundreds of movies and dozens of movies for this podcast, but hundreds of movies outside of this podcast, so that we can produce the best possible content and get 2-star reviews on Apple Podcasts, where we get called amateurs.
That was me, though. You were not called amateur, but I appreciate that you shared in that.
Well,
failure.
We were one.
We are one. Yes, one on the podcast. when we're on the podcast together, we are one.
Do you think without me it would have been a 5-star review?
No, I don't think it would have been a 5-star review.
Interesting. It's interesting how the public can just decide to, even if they enjoy the podcast, to just not be nice about it, you know? And it's just like their mood determines our life.
Yeah. The bigger we get, the more we're going to have to learn how to face the criticism and stand strong through it.
Yeah, that one wrecked me.
Because normally, all the time, we are right. And I stand by that.
Can't argue with that.
We've never messed up a fact on the podcast. Actually,
Never.
I'm gonna rant for a second, as I haven't already done. My biggest pet peeve is when people complain about how we don't have enough trivia on the podcast. Okay, you can go log on to IMDb if that's what you're comparing us against. I don't need to go look up everything on IMDb and read it off for you.
As I have both of them pulled.
Well, okay. It's fine to intersperse that in the episode, but also you can listen to 1,000 other podcasts that will do that for you. We are giving you the hard-hitting thematic analysis and, just like unique introspection into the movie. That's from our personal experience and that we're reflecting on, and that you can maybe glean from if you relate to our experiences at all.
Anyone can read IMDb, but
so
not you.
Use these big words. Yeah, I can't read it all.
That is true. So if you want to go listen to a trivia podcast, by all means, there are plenty of guys out there who will do that for you, who are just factoid machines, and they just have that. But those podcasts will go away with AI, because AI will be able to read off facts better than anybody else.
But does AI have the ability to use a soul, to use just this internal humanity complex that we don't even fully understand? Even with a theological system, the depth of understanding can never be grasped, or can ones and zeros define the heart of a film? You'll find that out in this podcast.
So as we enter our next era, in the post-150 era of the Movie Vault, we challenge you to join us in this deep philosophical pursuit of understanding film on a level never done before.
You guys sound so enlightened today. I'm not going to lie.
Well, we took a month off, so we are on a heater now. We have bottled everything up and are ready to rip out reviews of some of the most violent and fun movies that you could possibly ever watch.
And I'm coming off of an exam.
Yeah, that does give you a high.
Yes.
When you study really hard for an exam, then you take it. Man, haven't had that high in a while. But
Yeah. Yep. Isn't it crazy? It's been over a year, about a year and a half now, since you've been out of school and I've been continuing in school.
Yeah. I don't envy you.
No, I don't envy me, but I am grateful that I have 3 weeks off now.
Yeah.
Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2. Probably my favorite. I almost said Christopher Nolan. This is so sad. One of my favorite
Rusty.
Quentin Tarantino.
Amateur.
Automatically discredits the whole rest of the podcast.
I
now.
know.
Well, just forget about everything that I just said.
You guys know I can't hide my intrusive thoughts, okay? So Quentin Tarantino's best film, right? This is a singular film. You know, the credits for all the characters come at the end of the second one, Volume 2,
Mm-hmm.
and he talks about them as one film. You know, his fourth film. I believe the total length is like 3.5 hours, around that. And they have another version that they released in theaters recently called Kill Bill: The Whole Bloody Affair, which is just that one film. So we are treating this as one film.
4.5 hours for the whole bloody affair.
4.5 hours. Okay.
Yep. And we did watch it all at once. I think the Bloody Affair might have like an additional scene, but it can't add that much time to it.
Yeah.
I think it's another animated scene or something like
Oh,
that.
that's cool. So, Tressel, this was your first time watching it. This was my third time since the fall watching both films, both volumes.
Mm-hmm.
How many times have you seen this, Ben?
Twice.
This is twice for the whole.
Twice for both of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, probably my third favorite film, or something like that.
We
Second
already know your
favorite.
rating. Just go ahead and tell us your ratings.
Yeah, I mean my rating is 5.
I think mine's 4.5. I honestly didn't even check.
This is a rare moment where mine's higher than yours.
Yeah.
That is pretty rare.
When you have a movie that latches onto you, I appreciate you really you really fight for it and show people it.
Yes.
And you're just a really big advocate for the movies that you
I'm
think
an
are
INFJ.
influential. Yeah.
That's
INFJ.
advocate.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yep.
That makes sense.
I'm the real Martin Luther King Jr., but also Martin Luther, but not anti-Semitic. What is your rating?
I give it a 4, which is good for me. That's probably like your guys' 4.5.
One day, Tressel will understand what a 5 is. Not saying that you should have rated this a 5, but I'm waiting for the day where you're like, you have that like breakthrough moment, and it doesn't matter what film it is, and it's just like, oh my goodness, this film is a 5. Like
Spider-Verse 3.
The second Spider-Verse is the only one I've felt like that.
Which I understand. That makes complete sense.
Yeah.
So I guess you've already had that moment, but I'm waiting for more of those
while.
moments. More of those moments for you.
When he says, "What's up, danger?" Do you feel that in your heart?
First movie.
I know.
So no.
Okay.
That one's only a 4. You know.
That one's. Oh, I thought that was a 5 too.
Like the end of
4,
Lahane,
4.5.
the last scene. I get spinal chills all the way down.
That might be a different symptom for a different diagnosis. We will have to check that out later.
What was the other 5-star you watched recently?
Picnic.
Yeah, I looked at the reviews. They weren't like
No.
crazy.
But
so.
it is something that is misunderstood by everyone except for me.
I see. It's one of those things. You against the world.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm not like lying. I'm very, very serious when I say that.
Yeah.
I think the director meant for a very different experience than what most people in the Letterboxd comments say.
Yeah.
But that's not what this is about.
No.
Kill Bill Volume 1 was released in 2003. Am I getting a phone call? I apologize for that.
unprofessional.
That might have been David, his computer that we're coming off of. Oh well. 150th episode ruined. So Kill Bill Volume 1 came out in 2003. And then I believe it wasn't that much longer until Kill Bill Volume 2 came out
2004. Yeah.
the next year. So it almost was like an Infinity War Endgame type of situation going on.
It was the Infinity War and Endgame for exploitation martial art films.
Yes.
Yeah. Uma Thurman plays the bride. And then there are many other famous people like Lucy Liu. How do you say it? Vivica A. Fox? There's a Vivica. I think it's Vivica. And it is, like you said, these 1970s martial art film exploitation, amazing, bloody, violent, but not as bloody and violent as this film. That was like the basis that Quentin Tarantino was basing this off of. You can look up actually all of the films that influenced this film, and there are so many.
You would never be able to watch all of them. A normal person wouldn't have enough time or enough patience, probably.
Hmm.
Because the thing, so let's do a little history lesson. So in the 60s, we've talked about the Hays Code and how things changed in the late 60s. They were allowed to show more on movies. In the 70s, there were what they called exploitation films.
Yes.
And so those were sort of the more, I don't know, the sleazier sort of more under the radar movies that you just wouldn't typically go watch at your regular theater with your family, right?
Yeah.
These would be like drive-ins. These would be like places that I've totally thrown off my train of thought.
No, you're fine.
But basically what I'm saying is that your grandma wouldn't have gone. Your great-grandma wouldn't have gone and watched these movies.
They weren't super popular.
No, they weren't.
But they
it was like
became
a
popular over
subculture.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a subculture thing. And some of them did like go into like the more, I don't know what the term is, maybe like things you shouldn't watch sort of range, but they're also like generally a lot of them were like very violent or like more violent than they typically make movies for a broader audience. And they were also a lower budget. I think that's important to point out. And so but the advantage of the lower budget and things and the less limitations was that people could experiment more, which I think is what Tarantino really latched onto with a lot of these movies, is that they were kind of just like churning them out and like doing things and like trying things. And especially with like action sequences and stuff, they did a lot of cool, interesting things. Even if the movies themselves aren't like really that good, there's like aspects of the movie that you can really take a lot from. And then these martial arts movies had real like actual martial artists, right? And they were trained and they put them as actors, which I think was like a relatively new thing compared to the very like stuffy theatrical kind of 1950s 40s movies where people were like, oh, Julia, we need to fall in love, that sort of stuff. Like this is like real, nose to the grindstone type of thing.
I like that. You should be an actor. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I
Voice
should
actor.
be. I should do the 50s impression or the 50s like Hollywood accent. Like Humphrey
transcontinental
Bogart.
accent.
Yeah. Where it's like, it's kind of British and it's kind of American. So I think that all leads to, and this was all during the time that Tarantino was growing up, and his like stepfather or something was like he had no parental guidance. They didn't follow the rating system. It was just
Bad
like
boy.
watch movies, and he watched all of them.
And that's what I appreciate about Tarantino is he brings such depth. I don't know if I want to say depth, but such grandiosity to the cheap, low budget. With Pulp Fiction, it was the pulp films, or the pulp books that you would read and pick up. It was like this cheap, quick thing, dirty even a little bit, And he makes this like crazy movie out of it. And then he takes kind of the themes of these martial arts films, which are, cheaper, lower budget, but still fun. But like they're not like the high-reaching dramas of, whatever, Vertigo or something like that. It's mainly these quick, easy-to-make things. And Quentin Tarantino makes them into like such, I don't even want to say masterpieces. They are masterpieces in some people's eyes, but like
Quality.
higher quality, much more intention, I would say as well. Every scene is very thought out, and there's a lot more imagery in his films than there would be in a Pulp Fiction booklet or a martial arts film. But like that seems to be his like this is only his fourth film, and that seems to be like he's definitely building off the back of these really cheap things that probably have not been the inspiration of many moviegoers or movie directors or movie writers. That's why he brings such a unique, I guess, perspective to the movie industry, because his inspiration is unashamedly these cheap, disgusting things. And he's not ashamed of that. He actually makes it like his thing. And then he breaks the world with, Pulp Fiction, this, very postmodern film that defies the hero's journey in many ways while also maintaining some limited structure to make people wonder and think and have fun throughout the process. And this is it's non-linear, but it's really linear when it comes to storytelling. And these films are a lot more basic. You know what I mean? Like this film, the plot isn't very hard to understand whatsoever. The dialogue's not very deep, and the themes aren't incredibly hard to understand. But it's mainly the action in this, mainly the intense emotions in this, the incredible grandiosity of the situations that happens with, her baby. She thinks the baby passes away, and she's like mourning that, and like you feel it in that scene. You know what I mean? Like it's not the cheap stuff that he's inspired by. He kind of adds so many other layers to it. Yeah, my cat loves to try to escape the room. And is he purring?
Mm-mm.
Okay, good. He's a good podcat.
Millie's a bad podcat.
Yeah, Millie will like play with the cords.
yeah, she'll get in the way of things. I like how you pointed out that like he's taking stuff that's like ugly and turning it into like higher tier or higher levels of art, but also in a sense not doing that. But in doing that, in the like embracing the like grotesque and the ugly, it sort of creates this like new thing. Because I feel like anything, like any art form, it's easy for it to become very like self-referential and self-worshipping, to the point where it's like you're taking these certain films and you're like, these are the greatest, and like if you're not drawing off of these movies, then you're not doing it right. All these other movies are just slop, we can just ignore them. But being able to find like the good aspects in bad movies is like a talent in and of itself. Like that shows that you can like, you really truly understand what makes movies good and interesting, and you understand that it's more complex than a movie just being good or bad. Sometimes a movie could have like some part that like kind of worked, but it's like kind of messed up by a lot of things that didn't work, right? There's a lot of factors at play. It could have good actors, but they're plugged into the wrong roles. It could have good writing, but bad acting. There's like all like movies are way more variable than maybe like writing a book, right? Like, because writing a book, you're really being carried by the talent of the author, of a singular person. But movies, as much as we love to like promote our tour theory, and we're even doing it right now by praising Tarantino so much, like at the same time, you have to be able to identify the talent correctly and put it all together, and have people on your staff that are helping you do that.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, it's just not going to work out. But that's not to say that there might be aspects of any movie that you could find, you could be like, well, this, kind of worked. And then the worst movies are the ones where it's like, well, they didn't really do anything good, or it was just like kind of all mediocre. There was like nothing like to write home about. Like I'm thinking your average sleepy Netflix original is going to be like poor writing, mediocre acting, mediocre plot. So it's like it's not necessarily even bad. It's just like so mediocre. It's just sad. And his eye for talent is crazy, because like people he's casting in these movies are like, he is one of the best at identifying, but going back looking at old movies and being like, this actor was good, why weren't they in more movies? And then like casting them. Like Daryl Hannah was an actor who had some moments in the 80s, and a lot of actresses like this in the 80s, like it was like, when they're younger, they have their like peak where they get cast in a couple movies. She was in like Splash, and she was in Wall Street, and then once they age out a little bit, unfortunately, at least in the 80s, it was definitely like this. They like barely got cast in roles, and so he's like, wait, she's still like talented. Like why isn't she in more movies? Like let's cast her. Michael Madsen, someone who he really latched onto in his career, who never necessarily like took like a lot of his most popular movies are going to be the Tarantino ones, and he has some memorable roles in Tarantino movies, including this one, and then even David Carradine. I was like, this guy is so like, as Bill, it's like, this guy is so talented. Like what did he do? And he was in the star of the series Kung Fu, which kind of makes sense, right?
Yes.
That's a really referential callback to like the era of martial arts. But he was a very like an actor who got himself into a lot of trouble. He got arrested a lot. He was probably not like highly favored in the Hollywood industry, but he was originally going to write this for it was an actor who's much more popular than him, and he decided, no, it's or I think that actor turned it down, and he was like, no, I'm gonna rewrite it for David Carradine. I was like, who would think like this guy who is like kind of a bigger star in the 70s, like who would just be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna write it for that guy. That's how Tarantino thinks.
Yeah, that's a very interesting thing. Like, and I'm looking at it even right now. So the actress for what's her name? Daryl Hannah. Daryl Hannah's actress. The character that she's playing is based off of like a 1974 exploitation film with a woman with an eye patch who's getting revenge for some guy who did some terrible things to her, and like it's like a Swedish film in another language. So you get so much input into this as well. It's kind of like if you just go online and look up craziest videos ever, chances are it's going to be like some weird video that you'll probably watch till the end because it's just stuff you haven't seen before. And Tarantino has such a breadth of movie knowledge, such a breadth of things that he's watched, to the point where he brings in so many different things from so many different films that every single film he makes is not cliche. There's not an ounce of it because it's all very unique. And if it's cliche, he does it on purpose to be ironic. And you can tell it's on purpose because there's like just a different layer to it than there would be in a normal film that might take itself more seriously. Like, there is just such a high level of input into this, into Pulp Fiction, into Once Upon a Time in Hollywood even, which is on my lower favorites of those. I need to rewatch it. It's been like 7 years or 6 years.
I love hating on movies that, like, that's what I do with Inception. It's been like 8 or 9 years since I watched it. I'm like, oh, it's not that good.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fun to do that.
But he just like he I don't know how to say it. Like, of every single film he makes, and his 10th one, hopefully comes out, and every single film he makes is very, like, it will never ever be recreated again because the exact inputs he has are so many. It's like plugging in so many different variables that nobody would think of into a giant equation. Nobody will be able to reproduce it, whereas many Hollywood films are very reproducible, unfortunately.
Yeah, and the people who try to copy him, it's really obvious what they're trying to do, and that they just don't really get exact. Like, they see some parts of what he's doing and what makes it work, but I don't think they truly understand why what he's doing works so well, which is exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, and it's hard for other people to be him because he somehow carved out this place in Hollywood culture where he can do whatever he wants, and people will watch it, right? And people need to watch movies for you to be able to have the resources to do whatever you want. So him, like, and also Christopher Nolan falls in this category. We've talked about this many times. Like, these directors that have such a good following that they can actually be creative. They're not being held up by any stipulations. Terrence Malick had stipulations on him that he just rejected and made the movie against the higher powers. Like, there are these directors that are legendary in culture because they're allowed to use every ounce of the imagination into these films. And like, Tarantino delayed production when Uma Thurman got pregnant and like waited for that to all be over. And like, there was just a high level of I guess care for the crafting of the film. Of course, I don't know exactly what Tarantino's process is in a lot of this, in his filmmaking, but I do know, like, there is a high degree of, like, his last movie was 2019. It's been 6 years and there's still no word on what's happening next. Because he's probably had an idea. I think he had that idea about that film,
the film critic one, yeah,
and scrapped it because it's not good enough. And I appreciate that. Because there's no quota for him as well. He doesn't have to make a Marvel movie 3 times a year.
Yeah, I think how you establish yourself is very important, is what he showed, because he came onto the scene being like, "This is what I'm gonna do," and it was kind of an unlikely rise, but I think his total, you could say he's a narcissist or whatever, you could say he's like full of himself, but that's exactly what his total belief in his vision is, what has gotten him so far.
Yes,
because he made, unfortunately it was the Weinsteins that believed in him, but he made someone believe in him.
Yeah, I know.
And now there's people who still are. I mean, there's always going to be detractors for him, but I think he understands that, like, no matter what you do, like, the worst thing to be is not talked about and be kind of like, oh, that guy made a movie and it was kind of just like bleh. Like I was saying with the Netflix originals, there's lots of movies that a director can make a good movie and then their next one be like, man, that was kind of like It felt like someone else could have done that. Why was this guy tied to that? And kind of, the Eternals, Chloe Zhao.
Yes.
It was like that was kind of the response. It was like, oh, you made this like, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call it that interesting, but an Oscar bait or Oscar level movie with Nomadland, and then you make Eternals, which just ends up being like this like kind of sloppy Marvel movie that's really at the start of the downturn of Marvel.
Yes.
And it's not all her fault because we know that like Marvel's so involved, but it's also like, why go do that? Like, I get like the money's good and all of that, but like it doesn't seem like it shows like belief in your vision. And
no.
But some people pull it off. Like Ryan Coogler did a great job, like going from independent movies to Marvel to making something important with Marvel. But I think it's because he believed in the vision of what he was doing with Marvel. Whereas sometimes it feels like people are just like, well, Marvel's hiring me, and I'm just doing it, and it doesn't feel like exactly like centered. Like it doesn't allow them to maintain their sort of like artistic merit through the process. It's almost like I wish there was like an in-house group of people who are like, we love Marvel and we're gonna direct. Like they didn't have to like pick people and that's what they love. That's what they want to do. That's what they love doing.
It's the
they
best
care
ones. The
about
Russo
it.
brothers are that.
Yeah, that's what, have those people just do all of
James
the Marvel
Gunn.
stuff because they're gonna put the most care into it.
Yeah.
They're gonna be the best team workers. Like, why pull Sam Raimi into and try to like put together something?
Get the comic nerds to do it.
Yeah, like I think that would be the best way, and I know they won't listen to us, but
Sam Raimi did the Spider-Man trilogy, but you're right. He was on the tail end of his career, and it didn't necessarily make a lot of sense.
It felt forced, is mine.
And to be fair, Scott Derrickson dropped out of Doctor Strange after the first one.
Yeah.
And I feel like to tie this back into the movies is Tarantino's obviously a person who is kind of a comic nerd because of, like we talked about, the pulp thing and everything. Like he builds it based off of his own ideas, but also the fandom of the environment he's putting around the characters. Because you can clearly see, like, the sword fighting in the first one and the second one, the kung fu, like you can see his appreciation for those cheaper films like you guys were mentioning, as well as the actual culture and history behind all of that stuff as well.
Yeah, he's not afraid to have like a third of the film in Japanese. And literally he has comic appreciation when he does the Superman analogy of, Beatrice waking up and being Superman every day. And the alter ego she made is the fake version of her. That's her Clark Kent.
Yeah. Now you told me your favorite sequence in a movie was in the second one, but you didn't point out when it was. What was that?
I forget what I was referring to in that part. I'm guessing my favorite sequence is that the fighting scene between Beatrice and Bill's other lover. I forget her name. Or sister. Lover or sister? Sister.
The one with the snake.
Yes. Yes. It says Bill's lover, though.
Yeah, I think they are lover. I mean, I wouldn't put it past Tarantino having an incest relationship in the movie. Yeah, Bill's lover.
I was confused too because she said something about your brother, something brother, sister. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it is. She is now Bill's lover. So as the bride was killed, then now he's moved on to L Driver, who's California mountain snake.
Yes. And it was their fight scene where she like destroys her and rips the eye out. But I also really like the Crazy 88 scene, like that whole scene.
That's hard. It's hard to top that one. That one's like probably the most monumental moment. Well, I don't want to put it that high, but it's got to be up there. I am a big sucker for the closing after they build it up with the story about the what's the guy who trains her on the side of the mountain?
Pei Wei?
Pei Wei. Yeah, when they build up that whole story and then it pays off in the last scene, I think that's great storytelling.
Pay me.
And it also adds a level of humor to the movie, which is nice. Very well balanced when you take the totality of both movies. The first movie, it feels like more of a direct like action thriller. Yeah. The second movie has a little bit more meandering storytelling, and then ultimately the conclusion.
Yes.
I remember when I first watched it, I thought I gave slight preference to the second part, but I don't know what I would even say. I think it's hard to like compare them. I think it's more helpful to view them as one movie.
Yeah. People, I mean, if people try to separate it, a lot of people say first one is a Japanese sword fighting film. Second one is an homage to Chinese kung fu films. Because in the second, anytime anyone tries to use a sword, it's instantly knocked out of their hand, and it's not in the fight, and the rest is kung fu.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And like there are probably like 11 sequences that I could say are my favorite sequences. I think the one I was referring to was that fight.
Which, a fun fact about that, the end of it was improvised. So after she did the fake, like the eye plucking, I don't know the name of the other actress. The one with the snake.
Yeah, that was, oh man, I'm so bad at Daryl Hannah, but she plays Ellie Driver.
Yes. That was all improvised, her rolling around and everything. She actually broke some bones, cut a bunch of cuts and everything from that. She was just doing it to make Tarantino laugh, and it worked, and he left it in the film. Her screaming and writhing around.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
She goes nuts.
All improvised.
That was like a lot of...
She kept doing it.
Yeah.
It was like 45 seconds in the background.
Tarantino's like, keep the camera running, keep it running.
Yeah, that's good. Oh my goodness, I love that.
Is that your Quentin Tarantino impression?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was all improvised.
What did you think of it as your first time, Tressel?
I liked it. I kind of agree with both of you guys to where they work really well as one big film. Like thinking back on it, we watched it in back-to-back days. I keep thinking of different moments. I'm like, which film was this in? And I feel like that's kind of the point because it's one story. It might be two different genres and two different kind of underlying themes under them both, but it's one long epic of her journey throughout everything. The only thing I didn't love, but at the same time, I mean, it's not a big deal, is anytime she was stuck in a situation, it was like, oh, let's just do a flashback to how she learned the exact way to get out of this situation. And so they would do that, but that's the whole point of it. So it wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that's good. And you gave it 4 stars, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. You know, I'm content with that because I was afraid if it were 3.5 stars, that would be too low.
Yeah.
But 4 is fine. 4.5 is probably the lowest I could ever give it mentally, but you know, I'll allow that.
You can stay in the room with us.
Yeah. There are just so many, and maybe we can just dive right into the actual specifics instead of dancing around. The theme of the film. The heart of the film, right? For me, I don't know if Quentin had an idea of one specific theme, but for me, every time I watch this, it's this familial centered storyline, right? It's a twisted, sick, terrible family, but it's like she's doing this as revenge for, in a loving relation, in a lover's relationship. Like they hurt one another and she's getting revenge and he got revenge. And then also at the end in the second one, it's about their daughter and her being alive once she finds out she's alive. And everything is motivated by this instinct to protect or get revenge on family. And it works really well beyond just like being hired as an assassin, as many martial arts films are, or like it's much more personal than the things that Quentin Tarantino is basing the film off of.
Yeah, she's not getting paid or anything. This is just for her.
Yeah, and the idea that like somebody would kill his pregnant ex-lover is just like a horrifying kind of like, who is this evil like how evil could you be on their wedding to somebody like it's a very like, it makes the revenge, like, not that revenge is ever justified, but it makes it more understandable.
Yeah. At the same time, they do such a good job, or Tarantino does such a good job of showing Bill as that evil, but also like a human, like he looks like he's a good father, at the end, like he's treating the daughter well and told the daughter about her mom, and obviously to some extent regrets what he did, but also still did it and is still in that life, so he didn't change that much. And
like a lot of kung fu films, he has like a weird sense of honor at the end of the movie where he's like, welp, I tried to do this and it didn't work, so I owe you that you can try to kill me, or like something like that.
I'm gonna take 5 steps now.
Yeah. Which is seems like a turn of opinion based on his prior actions, but it shows how complicated humans can be, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did not bring a gun to the sword fight at the end. He let it be a sword fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe that's the cinematic nature is also like it rewards these like charismatic characters. So like in real life, you're like, well, this would just be like ugly and like it would end very quickly and it would be sad and there'd be, you know, trials and stuff. And that would be the more like real life way that things would go. But in the movie, it can be like, oh, this guy's like actually like charismatic and he's actually interesting, and it's not, and it's like, and you're holding like all of these things together, and it's a little confusing, but you ride along in the journey. It's not confusing in the sense that the plot's confusing. It's like trying to understand where all these people are coming from and their rationale for their decisions.
But the entire structure is this hit list, almost Green Arrow-esque list of people crossing off, right? You have failed this city, except it's you have failed me. And it's, you know, in the first film, she gets 2 people, and the last one, she gets 3 people. You pointed that out, Tress. I was like, oh man, only 2 people were crossed off in the first one. And you have, you know, the first one being this, like right as the movie starts out, Vernita Green. And it's the Black Mamba, you know, ironically, the white girl going against Vernita Green, the black girl. And immediately they're like, she opens the door and they're sword fighting right away, pushing stuff on each other. You're like, the first thought you have is, wow, 1, this action is great. 2, this is going to be an action filled film. And 3, like, the quality of it seems really high. And it's probably not going to be like a drama, you know, it's not going to be like your Better Call Saul. It's more of a...
It's not a slow burn. No. Building the character like as much.
Yes, 100%.
And especially in the first one. Second one, there's a lot more character building, but first one is just straight into it.
Yeah, I think the genre changes slightly into the second one, and I really appreciate that.
It goes more into spaghetti western style in the second movie.
Yeah.
As opposed to the martial arts. Exploitation runs through the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was, and then... you know, the daughter comes off the school bus and she's like, you know, what's going on? Your dog did this. You know, it's funny as well. And I really just love that opening scene every time. It's just immediately knocks on the door. It's after the first opening, I guess, sequence of the flashback or the flash forward.
It like sets the tone really well for what the movie's going to be like.
Yeah. And about that, it kind of relates to that scene. Another fun fact is there was supposed to be a Kill Bill Volume 3. Tarantino said in an interview.
Yes.
And he said it was going to be a decade after, and it was supposed to be Nikki going for revenge on Beatrix.
Yes.
By the way, they could still do this.
Yes.
Yeah. There's not like just because he put a time on it.
Because they're both still alive.
And that could still count as his 4th film. So then he could still make his 10th.
It's all one movie.
Whole affair.
Yeah. He could just keep making Kill Bills and say it's one film.
The whole bloodier affair. Yeah. That would be awesome.
Yeah. And she says, like, you'll have to get revenge on me one day. Like, that's clearly a setup.
And that was in the first movie, so we already knew.
Yeah, so and that sets the tone for how Bill acts later, I think. It's like that's their code of ethics. Like, if I exact revenge and do this and that hurts someone, I owe it to them to let them try to exact their revenge on me. It's like,
which is unhealthy in a relationship. Let's just make that clear.
Yeah, we're not saying this is how the world should operate, but in this world, it's how it operates.
Yeah, and they both kind of respect it. They're like, he's like, I'm not trying to defend myself. I'm just saying the truth, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, okay. Kind of, you know, essentially.
Yeah, and all of Tarantino's worlds are just kind of like extra violent. You know, this is kind of the normal way it is. Like in Pulp Fiction, where it's like, oh, you know, so many people are dying. The police never come in the movie, really.
Yeah, violence is extremely normalized.
Yeah, like the sheriff in this one, in Volume 1, I believe, was just like, oh, looks like some professionals just did this. It's not like they were really even trying to solve it. They were just watching, like looking at the effects of it, and they're like, oh, this sucks.
It doesn't have that
like
existential dread of like No Country for Old Men, because it reminds me of that movie in the sense that like the setting.
Yeah.
But like that movie has a lot more like, oh my gosh, like the world is so evil, and it's like feels very heavy. And this is kind of just like,
that's the way it is.
This is fun. Evil is fun. It's bad things are fun. And
it indulges in evil, kind of.
Yeah, a little bit.
And then we get introduced to Hattori Hanzo.
Oh, yes.
This is kind of a callback to Pulp Fiction with the sword, right?
Mm-hmm.
That he gets in the pawn shop. I'm not sure they ever actually reference that as a Hanzo sword, but it's kind of like a tie-in. This particular blade is like very important.
Yeah, well,
that the bride go get.
yeah, and you know that Tarantino always likes to link movies together like that. The only one I have written down from this one was the boots Uma Thurman was buried alive in are the same boots that Michael Madsen used in Reservoir Dogs, which I haven't watched yet. But
That is an extremely random tie.
yes,
but-
and it's the same straight razor as well.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the only one I saw that, so I wrote it down because he likes to link them.
What are your guys' other thoughts? We can go through each of the 5 people that she kills. What are your guys' thoughts more on Vernita Green? It's the quickest one of all 5.
Yeah, we don't get it. I mean, I think you can appreciate how she has tried to like change her life, and now she's like maybe what appears to be a stay-at-home mom, and she wants the best for her daughter, and you kind of feel bad that she has to be, subject to this revenge. But then when you see what she did, you're also like, well, I guess decisions do have consequences.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, at the end of the day, the kids are always the victims.
Yes, sorry, and I said it wrong. She's not Vernita Green. She is Vernita Green, but Copperhead is the name.
That's her
Vernita
code
Green
name.
is her name. Copperhead's the name.
Yeah.
The code name.
Yeah.
They all have code names.
Yes.
Fun game.
Yeah. Yeah, Vernita Green, I mean, she's obviously a mother and everything. She is kind of the one who makes it end the way it did because Beatrix was okay with having an honorable fight, and then she just tried to shoot her with a gun, like in a cereal box, just real sneakily.
Mhm.
But you can understand that because she has a daughter she's trying to protect, which then, of course, later on, Beatrix understands. So.
Yes, she does. She does. And she might have understood in the moment as well, like a little bit.
Yeah, because she talked about her own kids. She was like, she would be,
your age.
4 now. Yeah.
And that girl was 4?
Both of them looked way older than
Yeah,
4.
she looks like
but-
she was like 10.
Yeah.
She's coming off the school bus as a 4-year-old to
Well,
preschool.
it's just like Stranger Things. Like, there's no way these kids are 17.
That's true.
25.
Just believe what they tell you.
All
Yeah.
right. Yeah. All I'm saying is in our society, we should question age. I'm just saying, that's all I'm going to say on it.
That's pretty safe.
Yeah.
Safe bet.
So, okay, that's Vernita Green. You have this amazing sequence of Lucy Liu as Oren Ishii, codenamed Cottonmouth, the deadly viper who became the leader of the Yakuza.
Yeah, and that sequence, that anime sequence is cool, and you understand why they do it because the content with her being abused as a child, it's like it makes sense, and it was extremely violent too.
Yeah.
Like with the way that she kills the mob boss. Like it just worked that they did that, and it was another like cool wrinkle and homage to like Japanese culture as well.
Yeah.
That Tarantino was able to incorporate. And I mean that whole Tokyo storyline, like everything is awesome, and like I love the band, the 5, 6, 7, 8s.
Yeah.
It's funny, like I used to listen to this Japanese math rock band called Tricot, and it reminds me a lot of them. Like they're
Did you just shake your head as if you know it, Tressel?
No, this is my listening.
Okay.
My listening nod.
Okay.
yeah, and
I'm learning.
Gotcha.
I mean, I think the 5, 6, 7, 8s are more of like a garage rock inspired band that was like inspired by American rock and roll, but you can hear that like really heavy emphasis on like rhythm guitar. So another just like he's probably on the spectrum. Let's be so honest, because he has such a
He's talented, so
he has such a an ability to just like know like, oh, this is the kind of music that was popular in like this bar scene in Japan. Or if that's not the case, he's really convincing that that's what things are like. If you were to go over
Tressel
there.
said it sounded like the Cantina band.
yeah, a little bit because you don't like understand it.
Dun, 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 dun,
So-
dun, 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 you know that one.
Maybe a little bit.
Not that song specifically, to be honest, but
Lucy Liu has an amazing first character introduction where they're at the board meeting for the Yakuza. She is half American, half Chinese.
And they
And-
call that into question, right?
And they call it into
Mhm.
question. She chops this guy's head off. Blood splatters everywhere. She holds his head and says, we can talk about anything except for this, right? Basically. And that was just a crazy intro sequence for that.
And another example of how the violence is like so like over the top
Mm-hmm.
and like stylized.
Yeah,
Yes.
I remember when that happened. I asked Zach, like, did it actually spray that much?
No, I don't think the carotid spray 5 feet in the air, but
For that long.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
saying for
Not.
30 seconds.
Yeah. But yeah, and then there's this background sequence that Lucy Liu has, Oren, where she's under the bed and her parents are getting killed, and it's all in Japanese style animation, which is so cool to watch. And it's probably a 5-minute sequence, so it's not extremely short either. Just kind of given that background, and it's a lot more violent. I'm wondering if Quentin Tarantino had some stipulations he had to follow, like actually to get it into theaters.
I'm sure.
I don't know.
I believe it was his idea to do it animation style, so you don't have to have a kid, because even if seeing that fake stuff as a kid, you might still think it's real, especially that young.
That's the first time I've heard Quentin Tarantino have like some
Restraint.
yeah, or like heart for that. You know?
Yes, yeah, which is.
I hope that's true.
He he probably has more heart than his hard edge gives off, but
Yeah.
yeah, but I also think like with this movie, like the thing that they do to get away with the violence is make it like really stylized, because I think the argument is like, oh, this is just like it's so like almost like comic violence. Like it's like that like campy style of violence,
Yeah.
so that it doesn't feel like, I don't know, like a hardcore violent movie. So it kind of tricks you into thinking it's a less violent movie than it actually is. I mean, that might not be, if you're not used to watching this style of movie, that might not be the perspective you have. But if you are, you're like, you see like, oh, you're like, this is not like, I'm not getting the same feelings I get from Hostel when somebody's torturing someone, or in the final sequences where it feels like very realistic.
Yeah, or the one that comes to mind for me is Fire Walk With Me.
Yeah,
It's not like that. But that same type of stuff is in the film, but it's not that, it's more, there's like
the tone tricks you too.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this is really happy. You're like, oh, okay,
You're like,
I believe you.
Awesome 40-on-1 fight scene.
Yeah. So, okay, let's just talk about it. The Crazy 88 sequence where she finally comes to Oren's, place where they're staying, and Charlie Brown's there, and they're just interacting, and then Uma Thurman walks up, and she's like, come out. She comes out, and they start out one at a time. Like, they send like one guy, and she kills him. Sends out another, and they kill him. Then it's like 3 at a time. And then I think Oren comes up, and she's like, has her tiny knife, and she's like about to fight. And then you hear the motorcycles or cars kind of come up. And the whole 88, I think there's more than 88, or maybe less, but it's not exactly 88 is what I heard. And they come up, and they're just fighting. And the next 20 minutes are black and white fighting sequences where people are double jumping, walking on railings and fighting, just the most unrealistic things. The deaths are crazy. She holds a guy up with the sword, like she's holding the sword with one hand and the guy's on the sword.
Yeah. People are like falling back into like the pool and stuff, and like it's crazy.
It's such a contrast though when that happens in black and white and then it goes back to color. There's so much red everywhere. And I wonder if that's part of the reason like there was a contrast of the black and white.
And you get like, it's black and white, but then there's also like sequences where it's like blue, and then they're like fighting behind a background. And
yes,
I like how the colors are like, I know they did it partially because of the violence to like help tone it down a little bit, but you kind of ignore that because the stylization is so interesting.
And she spanks the kid with the sword.
Yeah, so it keeps a little humor.
Go back home to your mommy.
And then Gogo Yubori is the bodyguard, and she has like the ball and chain, and it's like kind of like dressed up like a stereotypical anime character. Maybe, I don't know what the exact inspiration was, but that sequence, like the different ways that people are fighting, is interesting.
Yeah.
She actually hit Tarantino in the head with that ball off while he was behind the camera or beside it, and it hurt him pretty bad.
Oh man.
Yeah, just another fun fact. And Oren's death, spoiler alert, but towards the end, she says in Japanese, "You won't last 5 minutes." From the point she says that until her death is 4 minutes and 59 seconds.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, yeah, and they were originally planning to behead her, but then she wouldn't have known that it was the sword made by what's his name?
Hitoro Hanzo.
Hattori Hanzo.
Yes.
Hattori Hanzo.
Yeah. So they decided to cut off the top of her head so she lives just long enough to know the sword is that.
Yeah.
And then that brings us to the finale where she drives away in a motorcycle. I don't know why
She drives two in a motorcycle away in
Yeah, she drives in
her car.
Yeah,
And she's
'cause
following
she-
the translator.
in the translator was in the trunk
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And then throws her to the hospital.
and says, tell Bill of everything that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it kind of ends with Bill saying, "Does she know that she's my daughter? That her daughter's still alive?"
Yeah.
And then we go to the next one.
We're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, which yeah,
Apparently, he didn't know till the end of his script writing process that the daughter was still going to be alive.
Oh,
like
wow.
Tarantino didn't.
Mm-hmm. That's
Interesting.
what I read on Wikipedia, so it has to be
Interesting.
true.
Yeah. He just lets it come to him. In the next movie.
He wrote, so another fun fact, as much as I don't like to be that trivia guy, he was writing this movie. He was living in New York, and he was hanging out with Uma Thurman, and Uma Thurman had a young daughter. And so a lot of the influence of the screenwriting was on how Uma Thurman herself had changed from Pulp Fiction, being single without a child.
Like Maya
Mhm.
Hawke, the girl in Stranger Things.
Perhaps, I don't know. They had another son as well.
Oh, okay.
And then to Uma Thurman, and with her now having a daughter, and how that changed her perspective on life and things. And then it's just like, oh yeah, but like, what if you were like a hyper violent assassin and you had a child with like another hyper violent assassin? Like, pretty realistic life scenario there. Maybe that's what Hollywood feels like sometimes, though, to these actors. Man, it's a rough world out there. Sorry, I get really dry mouth on these. I need to make sure I have water.
Yeah, you
with me
need,
on these
but you
podcasts.
always. Well, you're drinking coffee.
That probably doesn't help.
Yeah.
So I apologize for that. I always apologize. Very self-aware, guys. So this brings us to the second volume.
Yes. And this one, we start out kind of with a longer storyline before anyone dies. It's kind of
Boo. Death. What? It's like the Roman Colosseum.
so Michael Madsen's Bud, Sidewinder is his code name.
Mhm.
Kind of works at this club as a bodyguard, and is not very good at his job. He doesn't really do
He
anything.
didn't like it.
He's about to get fired from being the bouncer at a strip club. That cannot be like
That has no
a
gas.
difficult job.
Yes.
That doesn't have any.
All you have
gas.
to do is show up on time
Yeah.
Yeah.
and not wear a hat.
Yeah. Yeah. And and he calls that hat some funny names. It was an interesting scene. And you just seem like, my first thought when I first watched this a while back was like, where is this going? Like, I thought that we would get into, people dying by now, but it kind of gives some context into kind of who these characters are slightly. And it is
Which
humorous.
we didn't get a lot of in the first movie.
Correct.
Yeah.
Especially with Renita Green. I feel like with Oren, we got quite a bit. 'Cause
That's
we get
true.
her background, and we get how she became a Yakuza boss. And so I do appreciate the like, we're learning about these people before they die.
It feels like a Western, like what Ben said.
Yes. And there's just a slower build up to that. And Uma Thurman comes to his trailer park in the middle of the desert, where after he received a call about getting $1 million for, afterwards he shoots her with a salt gun, then buries her, thinks she's dead, and then we get to he gets $1 million from Ellie, and Ellie puts a black viper snake in
I
there.
think it's L, but
L.
Just a
11.
little
sorry
nickname
to
for her.
correct you.
11.
California mountain snake puts the black mamba in
Because
the
she wants the
briefcase.
Hattori Hanzo.
Yeah.
And the scene, actually the most memorable scene for me the first time I watched it was the buried alive sequence. I
Really?
think that was the one that stuck with me because it terrified me.
Yes.
I was like, I hadn't really considered being buried alive very much in my
Yeah.
life. Like, it wasn't something I really thought about. And then I was like faced with it, and it was
Now you need to be
it was
concerned.
terrifying me.
Yes.
I was impressed with her ability to get away, but
I still
was
don't
also
understand
like-
it fully, but
Well, she had the close up when they do the backstory where she trains with Pai Mei.
like I get how
And-
she broke it, but I don't understand, like with all that dirt collapsing, I feel like, how do you get out?
Yeah, well, that may not be realistic,
Uh-huh.
but because you're right, that weight of all the dirt might be too much. But maybe it was like they didn't bury her deep enough to
Maybe.
where the weight of the dirt wasn't
They're
enough.
lazy.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I don't know. What do you think? You're the science guy.
Bill.
I don't know. All I know is she was like looking. She like felt at the top of the coffin for like a hollow spot before she started punching to decide where she was going to punch. So I think there was probably like a hollow part of dirt that she was wanting to go through. Yeah, and this is where we get her background with Pai Mei, and he trains her. He's a ruthless guy with big eyebrows, long beard.
Hilarious.
Calls her a dog.
He
Says
so sassy.
he owns her. Yes, and he's always like flipping his beard and he goes.
Anytime he does anything cool, he's just aura farming with his
100%.
stroking his beard.
And the camera zooms in really fast and zooms out really fast, and it's just really fun, the whole experience. And he like throws her food on the ground. Like, he's ruthless, but I guess like you don't really see him being nice to her, but I guess he ends up being nice to her because he teaches her the 5
You have to get through like the
finger.
hazing portion of it, and then
for the first year.
Because he hates Americans. He hates Caucasians and he hates women.
Mm-hmm.
Or he has nothing but contempt for women.
Mm-hmm.
So that he's like everything that which maybe he sets that up for every student he has.
Maybe.
He's like, oh, I hate men, and I hate, when what's his face trades with it. But maybe not. Maybe he's
I don't know.
saying the truth.
Yeah, I don't know, but Bill, I don't know. I don't take Bill as a liar.
That's true, Bill. He doesn't seem like he really lies.
Yeah.
You're right.
So and it's just crazy fighting. So like he throws the sword and it like lands perfectly in the sheath, like, you know what I mean? And he's fighting and they're like fighting with eagle claw formations with their hands and doing like these triple backflip. I don't know.
He bounces on the sword.
He has superpowers. It's beyond just like skill. He's like a superhero almost.
Yeah. And he teaches her, like Zach said, the 5-finger death or 5-finger heart stopper or something.
Yeah.
Which we should try that on one of us who's volunteering.
I'll volunteer it on you.
But and apparently he hasn't taught that to anyone, so she must have won his favor in the end, like you guys were saying, somehow to have learned that, because even L Driver, who goes back and kills him, didn't know it.
Well, and it's just this internal drive, and it's rooted in her love for her family and revenge for her family. So it's sweet and not sweet at the same time. You know what I mean? And it is this idea of she has this internal desire to get what she wants on a higher level than anyone else, and that's her being Kal-El, right? That's her being Superman and waking up like that, rather than putting on an alter ego. She is the alter ego. So like you see that in Uma Thurman, where she's never really defeated until it's all over and she's crying in the bathroom with some plush dog toy. But throughout the entire film, literally nothing breaks her whatsoever. Like there is nothing. And at first it's rooted in, revenge, and then it's rooted in love for the daughter.
Yeah.
And maybe that revenge is also rooted in love for the daughter. My guess is that's true.
Have you guys ever seen a coma patient attempt to walk afterward? I mean, I haven't, obviously. I don't know.
I've seen some people who are pretty sick, but I wouldn't necessarily say they were. I don't know that I've seen them walk again, but they were like on their way. Yeah. It really just depends on the exact scenario.
I was gonna say,
like,
how realistic was it?
Of why they're in a coma. Like, I'd have to investigate, because she was like literally like out for how many years?
4
years. 4 years,
and
because her daughter's 4 years old.
I mean, you hear stories about it. I can't necessarily explain it. I mean, I can explain like agnostic brain injury and like why people go into a coma, or sometimes if the more likely scenario where you would see somebody like be in a coma and not is that they had hydrocephalus, like brain swelling, and that's like basically stopping, like that's changing their mental status, is making them not cognizant, and then you resolve it, like you fix the problem.
Yeah.
Then, and there's not like permanent brain damage as a result of it, then you might see someone go from like a coma to like out of it.
Because she kind of fixed it in 24 hours in the back of a truck and then was instantly fine.
Yeah, that, because I mean, they're not wrong about like contractures and all of that. Like if you were not moving your muscles for 4 years, like you wouldn't be able to. I think she probably had more strength than she realistically.
Well, in the same truck, she goes and has a battle with Vernita Green in the same P-Wagon truck.
Yeah, that would take a lot more physical therapy and rehab, I think.
But she was determined to connect her central nervous system to her peripheral nervous system. So yeah, wiggle big toe. The hardest part is done.
That's how it works. You just look at it and think hard enough.
You know, I love that. The back in time scene. I'm bad at talking, and I love Pai Mei, and I was really sad when I found out he died at the hands of poisoned fish by L.
Of all things.
I know. But like, hey, you get to a man's heart through food.
She just loves poisoning people.
That's true.
She can't ever kill anyone herself.
That's true. She's kind of a
She was
loser.
tried to at the beginning
Inject.
too.
Yep. Yep. And Bill has like some code of love, to say like we've done so much to her.
Mm-hmm.
Like it seems like there's some regret in that he never expresses, but there's some regret.
He's a full character.
But
he's
he-
not just evil for
Yeah.
evil's sake.
And he doesn't even apologize to her, ever. But then he describes it to the daughter as if it's like, Daddy shot mommy.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't
Like
a
it's-
fake shot. Daddy shot her for real,
Yeah.
which is it's a cute scene. And then they're showing their kid violent film. You know what I mean? It's just a
Yeah.
whole different world. But I love that. I do love that storytelling arc. Then then after Bud dies, then Elle is there. Elle comes in and Uma Thurman is there.
Mm-hmm.
And Uma Thurman, she opens the door and Uma Thurman kind of like does that double kick right through the door. Right? That was it. Was that
Yes.
yes. And then
She flies through.
she
like
finds she finds like and I don't know how she timed that.
It's that secret magic that she learned.
It's the
Movie
kung
magic.
fu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My bad, I dropped a marker. And then she goes and she finds a Hitori Hanzo sword. Hitori Hanzo,
Hattori Hanzo.
whatever. Sword.
Sorry, probably shouldn't. Sorry if that was offensive.
Hey, I forgive you.
Thanks.
And it was given from Bill to Bud, the only man I ever loved. And it was an amazing fight inside of a trailer. And it ends with the same thing that she did to one of the men in the Crazy 88, which is 3-finger grabbing or maybe it's 4 fingers, something like that, grabbing the eye and just ripping it out. Which Tressel asked, like, is that possible? And my thought was, like, maybe, yeah. You could squeeze, like, you can get in there and
If you
squeeze.
knew
Let me
the
try it
exact
on you
accurate-
then.
If you knew the exact point.
Because
that
there's
you need-
bone all around it. Like
Yeah.
if you miss, you're just gonna hit bone. So like
Yeah.
you have to get in and then behind it and then pull.
And you have to get the right pressure point because it could just like slip. The eye is very like.
It
know
was
what
very
I'm saying?
squishy, so it could just push back
Yeah, it
into
could
the
just kind
socket.
of push.
and
It would hurt, but you wouldn't necessarily pull it out.
Yeah.
But she probably learned it from Pai Mei because Pai Mei was the one who took away El's eye,
Yes.
Um,
Yeah. I guess that's
for calling
revealed
him-
too, yeah.
calling him an old fool or something like
Mhm.
that. And yeah, and then obviously she kills him and gets revenge. And it's just a whole fun sequence. Then she's, like you said, improvising this scene where she's on the floor like being blind all of a
Yeah.
sudden. It would be a crazy. It's kind of a dark scene. And
Literally for her. But we don't know if she dies either. It's just
probably.
I mean, we
she
assume
dies
she's
of
useless if
grief,
not.
grief and blindness. Well, probably starvation.
probably
a horrible death.
probably blood loss as well. There's-
Yeah, blood loss, starvation.
And the snake's also still in there.
I
Yeah.
mean, maybe she could have found her way to food for a while. I mean, she was in the snake. You're right. Okay, one of those things got her.
Yeah. She's dead.
She gone.
But
or she shows up
girl-
in Kill Bill 3 with 2 eye patches.
Double eye patches. But
She's like
she has
Daredevil.
increased sense of other senses, so she's like back to like full strength.
So now 4
AI
of
vision.
them are dead.
And there's one last one.
And it's Bill. And there's a scene where she's like, I'm going to go kill Bill.
I want to point out that at this point, the title makes sense, like you were
About
saying,
Mm-hmm.
because she is going to kill Bill,
Mm-hmm. Yes, at this point.
which is now a famous SZA song.
Yes. I won't do any more because we'll get copyrighted. This is where the tone of the whole process film changes. The moment she walks in the door and sees her daughter, it is no longer an action film. It is a drama.
You're
a
like,
true
wait, where
drama.
did this come from?
Yeah, the daughter's there, and she pretends to get shot by the daughter, right? It's a pretend gun. And she, like, plays along with it because she realizes in that moment, oh, my gosh, my daughter is alive, which is and that Quentin Tarantino actually plays into the seriousness of this rather than playing it off
she
as a joke.
immediately knows it's her daughter.
Yes.
Like, even though she's older and she hasn't seen her.
And it's maternal instinct.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And yes, and this is why I love it, because it could have ended similar to Volume 1, where they're in the snow and it's this dramatic fight scene and she cuts off the head of the other person, and it's really pretty and the moon's in the background, some awesome music. But no, it's a conversation, right? And then there's a quick 5-second sword fight where they're both seated. And while they're both seated, she does the 5-finger death punch. That's what I'm calling it. I forget what it's called. It's a band. And he dies five steps later.
Yep. Yeah. And the original climax was supposed to be sword fight on the moonlit beach between Beatrix and Bill, but production was running long, and Harvey Weinstein shut it down and said, Tarantino, you need to hurry up. So,
Wow.
yet another thing that he ruined.
Wow.
But,
yes, I know. Let's add that to the list. And
yeah, which is why she's in her dress with a sword on the cover
yes.
of the second one, I believe.
Interesting.
Yes. So it says the film's poster shows Beatrix in the dress holding her sword, which she never actually does, obviously. But that's how it was intended. I'm not sure how she would have gotten into her dress. Maybe trying it on at his house or something, like he saved it, or who knows.
Interesting.
But that was supposed to be the climax. But
I thought that was just like a poster that was like imagery of the bride.
yeah,
Interesting.
that's how it was supposed to actually be. But Harvey Weinstein.
But he even says the moon is out tonight. We should go to the beach. Like Bill says that.
So they allowed him to put that as a her as a reference.
Okay.
To what it should have been, but
Interesting.
it never was.
But I don't like Harvey Weinstein at all. But I like the drama. I like that it became a drama at the end, and they talk about it and discuss like what you did to me was wrong. No, what you did to me was wrong. I wasn't saying it wasn't. You know, it's like that's essentially what the conversation was.
Yeah.
And it's not joking.
It ends with a
very
conversation.
serious.
It's not. The fight is what 20 seconds at the end. Like
It reminded me of Loki. This is a weird, but like there's this big build up. Have you seen the first season?
I watched the first season.
I'm just talking about the first. Oh wait, am I talking about just the first season?
I haven't seen.
I'm just talking about the first season where he opens up the multiverse with He Who Remains.
Yeah.
There's this big, all this fighting, and at the end it's a 45-minute conversation between him and He Who Remains. And I loved that episode. I loved it because it was philosophical and it actually got to the heart of the show. And you can't just keep ending every Marvel thing with Moon Knight fighting a giant moon god. You know what I mean? Like, it can't always be that. And this is what it was in Quentin Tarantino's film. Quentin Tarantino could have made this a sword fight at the end, and it would have been awesome. But I'm happy with the circumstances we got.
You know what it kind of reminded me of? The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly ending.
Yeah.
Without the third person. Which makes sense because her character, the bride, was really based off of Man with No Name.
Yes. Yes.
That was a huge inspiration behind this.
Wow,
yeah. And they beep out the name because they don't want to know the name. And it's good. And then Bill's dead. And she gets the daughter. They go back to a hotel.
And they live their life until Kill Bill Volume 3.
Bill's ghost.
And then she kills Beatrix, and then the daughter witnesses it. So then it's just a perpetuating revenge.
But they're the
cycle.
same age, so they could do like
a team up.
But it would be Kill Beatrice.
Yeah,
they're gonna come out and do.
That's true. How would you call it Kill Bill Volume 3 if Bill is dead?
I don't know.
Beatrix now goes by Bill. That's like her nickname.
Kill B, because they just call her B a lot.
Yeah,
that's true.
That could work. That could work.
Yeah.
Also, very successful movies in terms of box office.
Yeah.
$30 million budgets for both of them.
Yep.
Both made well over 150 million.
Mm.
Miss those days where you could just make a movie and it would make that much.
Mm.
Very rare these days.
Yeah.
Maybe Mario Supreme will make that much. I don't think it will.
We will see. Are you seeing it?
I hope so. I just haven't figured out which day yet because
I'm going on
it's
Christmas
just
Eve.
a really busy time of the year.
Yeah.
It's the
You have a
most
busy
wonderful
Christmas Eve.
time of the
You're in theaters twice.
I'm going on Christmas Eve to see Anaconda and Marty Supreme.
And Stranger Things.
No, that's New Year's Eve.
I work
No,
New Year's Eve,
okay.
Yeah.
which is so sad. But I also, knowing me, probably would have procrastinated on watching enough to then go see it in theaters.
Ben, you have like 3 weeks, and you're like already setting yourself up for failure by saying it's not going to happen.
Because I know myself too well.
Got to speak it into existence.
Like what? Like, forget Zoo Lights for one night and just go. You got 4 episodes right now.
Zoo Lights are fun. Don't forget them.
Yeah, I should just lock myself up in front of my TV. But I've been wanting
It's
to watch.
4 episodes.
I've just been wanting to watch Seinfeld. That's all I want to watch.
You can watch Seinfeld
Are
anytime.
you caught up to this season on Stranger Things?
No.
Where
no,
are you
no,
at?
Well, no, I am. Yes.
So you just need to watch.
I just need
the
to
first 4.
I've watched most of the first episode of this episode 1.
See what I mean? He's got
I've, like-
3 episodes left to catch up.
And the second episode's really good. That's where it picks up.
Yeah, and
I figured.
he
I know
already
it's
gave
gonna-
up.
I know it's gonna pick up. Okay, I know it's gonna pick up.
If you don't do it quickly, Zach's gonna tie you down and make you do it sometimes. So.
I know it's true. That'd be scary.
I just don't get like you're saying like I might not have time, and it's like 3 episodes,
and they're not that long compared to season 4.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah,
I
number 2 is
forsook
only
studying
45 minutes or 50 minutes or something.
I understand that, Zach. Yeah. Okay,
I would rather get a bad grade than miss out watching it. I'm serious.
I'll get it done.
Listen, Emma for God first, then Emma, then Stranger Things. Forget insurance and nursing unless you're on the clock. Then it goes God, Emma, patient.
Get like the meta glasses. You can
then
watch
Stranger
it while you're
Things.
working.
But if you are in between patients, you better be watching Stranger Things.
But that's the thing. Yesterday, I did have downtime and I was watching Seinfeld.
Why?
I
You
feel
can
like
watch that anytime.
I know.
Like that's been out for decades.
But it's funny and I like it.
Okay,
Have you gotten anything spoiled?
No. Not
Oh,
really.
that's rare because
Yeah,
there's
that's
some
hard.
spoilers to say.
Okay, maybe I heard some people over talk, but I kind of disassociated in that moment and didn't really listen to what they were saying.
Mm.
So
If you don't watch it, I'm gonna threaten you.
By when? By
If you don't watch it by Christmas Eve, I'm going to call you and say, "Hey Ben, guess what?" Blah, 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 blah.
I would say sooner than that. I would say you got to get done by like the next podcast we do should be on like the 20th or something. A couple of days, the 22nd or 23rd is when you should watch
Monday
it
or
by.
Tuesday.
Yeah. I feel if you guys are available then.
This is for your own good.
Yeah.
Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah.
That gives
I'm really
you 2.5
busy those
weeks.
days.
Doing what?
Working and mostly working.
Why?
Because I have to pay for this somehow. Okay, Zach.
All
I
right.
have to pay for my exotic lifestyle, my luxurious lifestyle.
Listen,
No, I'll get it done. Don't worry. guys.
Okay.
just don't be defeated
Trust.
before anything has
Trust.
happened.
You're right. You're right.
Yes.
Let's get into question of the day before
Okay.
we wrap up.
I can't believe you said that. No, not you. Sorry.
If you were to remake any old movie, what would you remake? Even if you're against remakes, what would you remake and who would you cast?
This is a really good question. You
Thank you.
come up with some good questions.
I try.
I would remake Sunset Boulevard
Ooh.
with
Timothy Chalamet.
Liz. No. Maybe with Elizabeth Olsen.
Okay.
What do you think, Ben?
That could be good.
Yeah. And the guy could be Glenn Powell.
You can also do animation to live action if you want.
Okay.
Question.
Okay. In that case, I will do the original Snow White with Rachel Zegler. I think that'd be really
Everybody's
good.
dream.
No, I'm just joking. I'm sticking with Sunset Boulevard, Elizabeth Olsen.
Okay. Looking back at some of the older movies I've watched, I think it'd be really fun to do like an American version of The Samurai. So you'd call it The Samurai, And then maybe I could see Robert Pattinson being a good fit for that role. Or I mean, Timothy Chalamet could be a good fit for that role too.
Do we have to? Yeah, but I do agree.
I don't know if I could think. I feel like if sometimes I'm like I just want to take like an actor who I think is like underappreciated and like fit him into like a bigger role. So like if I could find an old movie that like Steve Buscemi would fit in really well, then that would be fun. But I don't necessarily have one off the top of my head for him. But the La Samurai American remake could be fun. Modernized maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
I would remake Shrek, David Lynch style.
Who would you cast? Live action.
A
Speaking
live action
of
Shrek.
Needing to finish
The Rock.
Speaking of needing to finish TV shows, since you've been preaching to me, Chair Company needs to be on your
Okay. All right.
I
speed
haven't finished that either.
finish.
Okay. I'll do
I'm curious
Pluribus
to-
first because it's
Pluribus is
Pluribus
so good.
first. Okay. I just don't.
Have you
Apple
seen it
TV.
yet?
I haven't seen
It's
it.
so good.
I have to do Pluribus first because I have such an affinity for Vince Gilligan.
I have more of an affinity for Tim Robinson.
I
Really?
I have
Yeah.
an affinity for him too.
It's a different thing, I guess.
Is it
'Cause
something
he's-
I can't
'cause
understand?
No, he's a
Yeah, you're too recent.
he's a showrunner and he's in the show. It's a little different than Vince Gilligan, I guess. But I do want to watch Pluribus, but it's just I haven't felt like the need to watch it. You know what I mean?
I think the need will come up when I watch it.
And then you're like, it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I need to watch it. And then
He
that'll give
threatens
me an
you.
excuse to watch Severance too.
Yeah, we're on season 2. And
Because a lot of times I'm like, I know I'll like these shows. I just, I sandbag it myself.
yep.
Any movie highlights? We're really light, I think.
I think I'm light as well.
Because I'm trying to think. Since when did we record our last episode?
It's been about a month.
Because I always hate that I like. Oh, Pulp Fiction. Okay, so yeah, I watched this movie called Fear City that was like
It's been over a month.
a thriller. It's fine. It's nothing to write home about. Mid-'80s thriller. Abel Ferrara. He's kind of like a exploitation style filmmaker. Final Destination. It's okay. Begonia. Very good.
Really?
Very good. I give it 3.5 stars. I don't think it's perfect, but it's very interesting. I went and watched it with people from work, which I thought was hilarious. And it wasn't even my idea to go.
Nice.
So that I was like, it's so funny that I work with people who still like want to go watch Yorgos Lanthimos movies.
Yeah.
It's particularly one guy, but he got other people to come too.
Yeah.
The Running Man, which I was kind of disappointed by. Edge of Tomorrow, good Tom Cruise movie. Christmas Vacation. This Christmas Vacation, I honestly might be moving up to a 4-star. The more I watch it, and as the years go by, the more I like think that it's one of the better
That's
Christmas
Chevy
movies.
Chase?
Yeah. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Yeah, I think it the more you age, the more relatable it becomes. Wicked, it's fine.
I still haven't seen it.
And then I haven't seen the new one. And then Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, which is just, it gets me every single time in the feels, right in the heart. 5 stars, best comedy ever. It never gets old. It truly never gets old.
Interesting. I don't have much. I've seen Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2 twice since the last podcast. Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Maybe we'll talk about that some other time, but it was fun. It's not
Your
cinema,
voice went up
but
like
it's
30 octaves. There's no way it was that fun.
It was
fun.
Yeah, it was okay.
that's like the Tim Dillon voice.
What are we doing here? Picnic. One of my all-time favorite films. I just watched it while I was studying at night.
Mm.
And then I rewatched Fantastic Four First Steps in the middle of the night as well.
Nice.
Had a lot of night studies. Nice.
Yeah, I just watched the second Psych movie, but that was like right after we finished Pulp Fiction, and then Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2. That's it.
Didn't even know there was a second Psych movie.
There's a third.
There's a third?
There's a
Wow.
third.
That's
And
another TV show that's
Psych.
kind of been like on
There's
my
not.
on my watch radar, but I just haven't had time for.
yeah, you gotta have a lot of time. We usually fly through shows because we keep them on, but Psych took us 6 months to finish. It's a long show. There's episodes are long.
I know
seasons are long.
people who like it, like really like loved the show.
Yeah,
it's like
I'm one of those
shows.
people. Yeah, like I grew up with at my friend's house, so I was always there. You
You grew up at your friend's house?
at Jacob's house.
Oh, gotcha.
His parents never had anything else on the TV other than Psych in their room, just constantly.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I grew up watching and hearing it all the time.
Well, sorry to everyone that I'm not keeping up, sustaining my 30 movies a month pace, but maybe next year we'll get some. But still,
What's your end of the year? How many movies have you seen so far? this year?
169.
That's
Yeah,
good.
200.
So I don't think I'm gonna make it to 200, but I might get into the 170s. So
We should do best movie. Oh, sorry. I wasn't holding my mouth to the mic. We should do best films of the year.
we should have a wrap up episode.
I got my top 5.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yep.
No spoilers. Don't
Well,
get into 'em.
that's subject to change because we got a couple big movies coming out here.
yeah,
I've definitely seen over 100 films, but some of them are repeats. 'Cause I'm
Yeah,
at
I
94.
probably have a few repeats
Hmm.
in there as well.
Many shark films.
I've seen 30 movies from this year, which I think is definitely a record for me.
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you, AMC Stubbs.
There you go.
I think Sean Fennessy saw 142 films from this year.
That's crazy. But it's also his full-time job. I have to remind myself.
No. We must hold ourselves to that standard.
I need 3 full-time jobs is what I'm realizing.
Correct. 2 is not enough.
No.
2 is not much at all.
All right. With that, thank you for being with us for 150 episodes. And here's to 150 more.
Yes.
Clink.
Clink. And back in the vault.